innovation by its nature doesn't always work the first time around or work at all. So it's important that we continue to try to identify through the markets opportunities to create value for clients. What's most important, though, is that we make decisions around those innovations in a crisp, clear, logical way, and that we have a process in the industry to do that. Clearly, over time, some of the innovations that have failed have been improved and continued to be evolved in the industry, such as asset allocation and global tactical asset allocation, such as hedge fund management and different styles of hedge fund management. But investors in this environment need certainty to the extent that they can achieve it. And the sad reality is that certainty in capital markets isn't possible, hence the need for continued innovation, exploration, and new product ideas and implementation. Well, product innovation is one thing, and clearly those inevitably involve a high degree of risk and/or return balances. The key innovation that we've seen coming out of the crisis particularly is innovation around how we have debate and discussions with our clients about their specific needs, their goals, and their aspirations. So again, the structure with which we innovate to help our clients meet their specific goals and objectives. So instead of looking at it from a risk appetite standpoint with a generic view of how risk should be managed in the portfolios, instead we talk about specific objectives that the client have, whether it be a pension fund looking to immunize its future liabilities through an LDI program, or in the context of a high net worth individual, what are their short-term goals and cash flow needs that need to be covered so that they can manage through any inevitable ups and downs in more risk assets that they may allocate? What are their longer-term objectives to support their own personal legacy, whether that be either for their family or for an institution that they care deeply about. So we try to develop innovative ways to articulate that to clients and also show how implementation of our investment programs are actually leading to those positive outcomes. The crisis in Europe continues to be obviously uppermost in everyone's mind. It's really a continuation in my mind, though, of the heavy leverage and debt that was incurred really throughout the last decade. So it's really a continuation, as I see it, of the crisis that really was kicked off in earnest with the fall of Bear Stearns and Lehman Brothers in 2008. However, in the current environment, given the complexities both economically and politically, it's creating huge challenges to be able to understand with any degree of certainty what the future will bear. And hence that volatility that has picked up in the industry is here to stay, I think, for quite some time. Lastly, and certainly not least, even from a U.S. perspective, our economies are linked based on globalization. We also, with innovation of such products as credit default swaps, we don't know really where the ultimate exposure lies. Hence, that degree of uncertainty continues. Another area which has really been a big impact in the United States is the fact that as of May or June, nearly 40% of all U.S. money market assets were invested in deposits of European banks. And that's changed dramatically over the last several months, which is exacerbating, I think, some of the challenges the European banks have been facing with regard to their funding, their balance sheet, and their ability actually to create credit. So again, an example, perhaps not altogether positive, of the interconnectivity of our global financial markets and the complexity of our product design and how they have ultimately very much of an alignment in a negative way when things go badly wrong, as they seem to have done over the last year or so in Europe. Yeah, I think conferences are really important to be able to network and compare notes with other peers in the industry, for us to be able to actually pick up new ideas from different challenges that we see. I particularly like FundForum USA because of its more global orientation and the ability for me to reconnect with many of the people I've gotten to know over the years in Europe and to have some of their ideas be brought here to America for our engagement.